Okay, I am here with Tory Hunsaker. We teach at the University of Arizona's Center for English as a Second Language. And Tory recently returned from an adventure in Southern Africa.
Yes.
So, where did you go in Southern Africa?
I went to Zambia, and that's where Victoria Falls is. So that's why we chose Zambia. And while I was there, we also left Zambia and did a 3-day safari in Botswana, in Chobe National Park.
Wow, so Zambia and Botswana are probably not known for their international shopping and, big cultural sites. It's probably more of a ecological thing, right?
Definitely.
So, yeah, why did you go there? Why didn't you just go to, like some European capital and hang out in Paris and all that kind of stuff?
I prefer to be outdoors. I prefer to be seeing animals, seeing nature, doing things that maybe 10 people that you talk to, only 3 of them have ever done.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So this trip was actually probably talk to 10 people, maybe half of them, half of one person had ever done this kind of trip.
Right.
It's just a personal preference. It's what I like. I feel like the most spiritual, the most connected, the most relaxed. When I'm outdoors.
I totally agree with
like
you.
That.
I've never been a very spiritual person myself, but when I'm in a natural place like a forest or a jungle or even the desert or wherever, I really feel like I'm part of something that's bigger than me and greater than me, and I feel like it's the way things should be. It's nature, and it's so there's that spiritual aspect of it, but then there's also like an intellectual, mental thing. It's just like there's so much to see and learn, and it's just never boring because there's always something to look at and something to learn about.
Yeah, and there's people who've been living in this place, wherever it may be, for thousands of years, and this is their entire world, right? And we're visiting it for however long we're visiting it, but we have no idea about it, and nobody has any idea about it.
Right.
Very,
there's
very
so
few
much
people.
there. Under the surface that we've only scratched that surface.
Yeah.
And there's so much potential to know.
Right. So as opposed to, a European city or maybe even just going and sitting on the beach or
going shopping.
Yeah. Shopping. Yeah. It doesn't interest me. So right, I can do that here. I can do that at home.
Right.
If I'm going to do a big trip, I'm going to be doing something where I'm seeing something unique. I am looking at some animals that I would never have the chance to look at. And that's the other reason why I love ecotourism is I'm a big animal lover. I believe in their conservation. I believe in protecting them, and I love that there are people out there trying to protect endangered animals.
Exactly, and I feel that way too. And whenever I'm traveling in some place and as an eco-tourist, and I'm spending money, either staying at a restaurant or a hotel or whatever, at a place where tourists go to see those animals and to see that natural place, I feel good about spending that money and knowing that my dollars are going to support that industry of ecotourism, because it tells the local people that it's that they have a valuable thing, something that's valuable on the market.
Yeah.
And it's something worth protecting.
And I've actually talked to my students in class about this, that we vote with our dollars.
Right.
Meaning, when I spend money on something, I'm telling that production, manufacturer, whatever, that this is important to me.
Exactly.
And when I go and I spend money on a tour to go see some animals, I'm voting by saying, this is important to me, and I would like to see you conserve this.
Right.
I think of it that way too, that you're supporting them and you're showing them that it's important.
So tell me about the animals that you saw.
Yeah, in Botswana, we did a 3-day safari, and we went to Chobe National Park in Botswana, and we were able to see 4 of the big 5.
Oh yeah, the big 5. These are the 5 iconic African animals that everybody wants to see when they go on a safari.
Yes.
Okay.
So the big 5 are a rhino, which we did see, but we had to see that in Zambia.
Okay.
Now I'm forgetting. The Cape buffalo,
Okay.
the elephant, the lion, and the leopard.
Okay.
Does that sound? Yes, those
Yeah.
are right. So yeah, we saw 4 of those. So the leopard was really lucky because they are very hard to spot. And we actually saw it on our first night when we were driving into camp, and it was actually hunting. So we got to see it hunting a thing called a quail fowl, a quail bird, something like that. It's kind of chubby
type of
little
bird
bird.
that
It's a
lives
little
down on the
chubby bird.
ground.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we got to see it hunting, and that little bird, and that was amazing. So we were really, really lucky. We knew we wouldn't see it again. We saw 2 different prides of lion. So there was a smaller one that was about 9 lions, and then a bigger one that was about 14. We did not, however, see the male. We only saw the adult females and then the adolescents. So we did see young males, but once they reach adulthood, they have to leave and start their own pride.
Right.
So we got real lucky. We saw lots of lions. The elephant were just everywhere. The littlest baby we saw was probably about 2 weeks old, and it was just adorable. And elephants are beautiful and elegant and so
very social
and kind. And at one point, they were moving with their foot what looked like a rock. And conservationist who was with us told us it was actually the skull of an elephant who had passed away, and they were paying respects to that elephant.
Right.
So they're just very intelligent. They're very sentient.
Very connected to each other.
Very,
Great.
So we saw tons of those. And then we did see some zebra. We saw a big group of zebra, and those are just really, really cool looking in person. Their faces with the lines were the most amazing to me. And giraffes. So giraffes are really, really cool. They hang out in small groups. So when you saw one, you saw a bunch nearby, and they are just eating the tops of the trees. And something we learned was the trees that they eat, when the giraffes have eaten a certain number of their percentage of their leaves, they actually change the flavor.
Oh, right.
So the trees
the
themselves,
tree doesn't get denuded of all its leaves.
The tree itself changes the flavor of the leaves, which the giraffes don't enjoy. So now the giraffes move on to another tree, so the tree can survive.
Completely stripped of all the leaves.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Wow, that's great.
And then we saw hippos in the water. So the hippos, they form this pod, or they're called a pod or a bloat. They have many different names for a group of hippos. And they were just, some of them were on land walking around eating, and then others were just in the water. So they were really cool, really special to get to see those.
And they're the most dangerous animal in Africa.
They are quite aggressive. We were warned about them a lot because they will charge. In the water, they can't swim, so what they do is they just jump. That's how they move. So we did actually have a hippo. We got too close with the boat, and we didn't know about it. We didn't know there was a hippo under the water. So she came up, she breached out of the water, and her mouth was open, and she was telling us.
Exciting.
It was very exciting.
Display.
Yeah. So really, really interesting. She must have had a baby around nearby, but they're very aggressive animals. So we actually had that happen to us twice, and it's very exciting, but it's very scary, because you know that they are actually very dangerous animals. Another big one is the Cape buffalo. So that's part
another
of the big
dangerous
5.
animal.
Very dangerous. To me, it looked like a cow with horns, big black, just kind of cow looking thing.
A cow that looks just, it doesn't look so bad, but is actually a very aggressive and dangerous animal that kills people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really dangerous.
And a lot of hunters were challenged to go hunt them. It was always a big thing for big game hunters because they were dangerous.
Yeah.
It was always a very big accomplishment to hunt them.
To get one, yeah. They're intimidating. They're very scary. And then we saw some littler things. We saw jackals, which look like a little dog.
Kind of like our coyotes here in Arizona.
Exactly like a coyote.
Yeah.
We saw a water monitor, which is
it's a big lizard.
A lizard of some kind.
Yeah,
and we saw tortoises, and then lots of birds. I don't know birds very well, but there were some really beautiful birds.
You saw an eagle. Oh, sorry.
Oh, the fish eagle.
Yeah.
Those are really cool birds. They live by the river, and then they go hunting, but they have the white, so the white with the black, and they're really cool birds.
Okay. You were saying something else about colorful
birds. So when they fly, there was a blue and then an orange that I swear I had never seen that beautiful color anywhere else except on that bird.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't you couldn't create it digitally.
No artist could do that.
Just the most beautiful.
Nature is the greatest artist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even a photo, you would not be able to get to see that color. It was just beautiful, just shiny and clear and just the most beautiful blue. Lots of cool birds.
So would you go back there in the future or anywhere like that?
Yeah, I would love to go. I would go back anytime. I would like to go to a different park and have a different experience there. Maybe go to Namibia. I heard that there's some really great safari actually along the water, the west coast of Africa. I've heard that there's really great safari there. So that would be really cool. And then if you go to Tanzania, there they have...
That's where the Serengeti is.
In the Serengeti. And then you can see the migrations and you can see just some different things. But I saw all the animals, I think, well, not
the iconic
all,
ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we had to do a separate safari in Zambia to see the rhino, the rhinoceros.
Wow.
So we did a separate walking safari, which was very scary because there's Cape Buffalo and there's giraffe and there's zebra and there's impala and they're all running and they're all looking at you. But our goal was to see the rhino. And we went with a national park guide. He's employed, he carries a weapon to protect the rhinos from poachers.
Right.
The rhinos are protected 24 hours a day by park rangers.
They've got round-the-clock protection, because they're very valuable.
Yeah, there's just a very small number of them. Yep.
Well, it's great that you got to see them in the wild before they're gone.
Right.
Let's hope that they can save them. And your dollars are going for that effort. So
yep, definitely.
That's one thing we can all feel good about is, that we're doing our small part to help save them.
Trying to.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tory.
Yeah.